Thanks for staying with us.
Yes, so two quick questions. The first is, if you happen to meet a situation where the landlord says they're going to be taking 2 years against what the Lagos State law has said, who do you report to? How do you follow up on that? That's one. And secondly, I understand the government is trying as much as possible to regulate this industry so that bad eggs do not infiltrate and further worsen the situation for ordinary citizens. But I would like to ask, what exactly is government doing in terms of affordable housing to be able to provide for their citizens? Because even though these landlords are crazy, we still understand that it's their personal money. It's like a private business, right? There's a limit to what the government can do in that regard. But what is government doing to say, we are going to be having affordable housing where it's state-owned, you can pay so and so and get into the place? Is there any plan like that?
Thank you very much. I'll take the first question first. The tenancy laws of Lagos State does not permit that you charge rent for more than a year, even though we know some people are doing it. So it's illegal for you to collect rent of 2 years. The minimum you can collect is 1 month's rent. You can collect quarterly, you can collect 3 months, you can collect a year, but nothing more than a year. If we find a landlord collecting more than 1 year, they can be reported to the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority at Block 21 First Floor in Alausa. And we also have a website that you can report to, so you can file a complaint at www.lasrera.lagosstate.gov.ng, and we'll pick it up from there and invite that landlord to ask him as to why he's flouting the laws of collecting more than 1 year's rent. So Ramatu spoke about the monthly rental scheme. So I spoke last year advocating that we can actually start paying monthly, because we don't get paid yearly most times at work. And just to get the ease off of the tenants and the landlords as well too, because we have some recalcitrant tenants that after a year, they don't pay the landlord's rent anymore. So it's to the benefit of both the landlords and the tenants. The tenant knows that monthly, this is the amount I'm taking away from my salary, this is how much I'm paying for my rent. And also the landlord does not have to worry that after a year, a tenant might not be able to afford the rent. So it reduces both the risk for the landlord and also the tenants as well too. And on the other hand, the Lagos State government is doing everything possible to provide affordable housing units for citizens. My co-pilot at the Ministry of Housing, the Honorable Commissioner, is the one in charge of houses in Lagos, but I can speak to it as well too. We have some units all over Lagos State. We have in Sanwo-Olu, we have in Badagry, we have in Igodo, we have in Ikorodu that are affordable. We have houses as low as 3 million naira, 2.5 million naira.
So people don't want to. They follow me. They're always on the outskirts. Nobody wants to go there
at once. And we also have schemes available to buy one-time rent, one-time
it becomes yours.
Yes, and we also have the rent-to-own scheme as well too for civil servants and people in the public sector that we know we can ascertain how much their salary is. So they pay a certain amount monthly, and they can spread it over the course of about 10 years over time. And after that, within Lagos, yes. And after that, the property
it's available. We just don't know. Let me pause. You have Yakub on hold. Good morning, Yakub. Thanks for calling. You're live.
For houses.
Excuse me.
Yeah, good morning, Mariah.
Good morning. Go ahead.
And good morning to our guests, and then everybody in the studio. Good morning, Sister.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me begin by saying this. As far as I'm concerned, yes, Lagos State is working, but concerning the housing, I can tell you for the fact the government cannot provide enough housing for residents of Lagos State. That is the fact. But I can tell you for free. You know what is happening here in Aige? And then I'm very sure by attention to every corner in this Lagos, it just happened. Morayo, do you know in our area here in Agege, there are some streets whereby you were never told that to be tied. And then the court Lagos State is working. Suddenly you see those streets being tied and everywhere is looking good. And then at the end of the day, those landlords in that street, in those streets, they begin to increase the house as if they were the ones have the money that the Lagos State put in place to do all those streets. In as much as infrastructure is going on, they will be silent looking at them. By the time they put those streets in place and then everywhere is light up, the housing in that very particular place will be increased. And then it will be interesting to you to know again that the law, the tenancy law in Lagos State is not favor the tenant at all. It's not favor the tenant. If it's okay, we should be paying 1 month, month by month. It is not happening anywhere in Lagos. The landlord will never agree to that. Even those ones that agree to pay 6 months or 1 year, by the time they want to increase the house, first and foremost, what they will do is they will serve you a quick notice. When they give you a quick notice to leave, and then you will now begin to beg them that please, I don't have anywhere to go. And then they resist that you have to leave. By the time they took you to court, even the mediation center, I don't know, maybe please give me some time. Even the mediation center that they carry you go. By the time you get there, the mediator will not asking you, when do you want to leave? And then they ask the landlord, why do you want this guy to leave? The landlord will tell the mediator that, see, my son wants to use the room. My daughter wants to use the apartment. At the end of the day, they'll decide the landlord. And then you have anywhere to go. You have to live, whether you like it or not. So basically what I'm trying to say in essence is that the tenancy law, it has to be reviewed. Because one thing this guy normally do is that...
Thank you, Yakub. Yeah, so you've gotten his point. Yeah. Let her respond to Yakub, then I'll come to you, Ricky.
I would like to say it is not something that we would like to admit, but even Mr. Governor says it all the time, that we're suffering from our own progress and our own success. Because if we bring infrastructure to a particular area, and then the landlord sees that as an advantage for them to increase the rents, it's not something that is encouraging, but because of that, we cannot stop the landlord. We cannot stop the landlord from increasing his rent or stop development from going to those certain areas, because it is for the benefit of the greater good of the people of Lagos State. That's why I said we are trying to meet with the landlords as well to see how we can come to a gentleman's agreement on how we can make life easier for the people of Lagos State. So after the protest about 2 weeks ago, we've been meeting with the associations, AAN, ERCAN, Naives, Redan as well, that are Association of Developers, people that are selling homes to all these potential homeowners. And they all had their own complaints as well too. So it's a situation whereby we have to have interagency collaboration for us to be able to work around how we can make life easier for even the developers themselves that are building these properties and selling properties at exorbitant amounts as well too. Because if you sell a property at exorbitant amount, you'd expect that the rent you would charge will be exorbitant as well. But if we make life easier for them from when they want to get their permits and the rest of them, maybe they can bring the cost of sales down a little bit to make life easier for everyone. And what Mr. Yakub said, saying that the tenancy laws have to be reviewed, I said that earlier, that we're working on that for us to be able to accommodate how we can help both tenants and the landlord. The tenancy laws now helps both the tenants and the landlords as well too, but it is just not detailed enough and not explicit enough. So the reviewed laws would caption everything that was left out in the old laws. And take care of that.
I'll come to YK in a second. I have Sholayemi holding from Surulere. Good morning, Sholayemi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
I thank you for this opportunity. I'm a retired civil servant from Lagos State, and I've been trying these Lagos State homes. As the girl said, Lagos State homes. It's as if that place has been given out to most of the PSCs, the directors, without getting through, without following the normal route, the normal way to share these things out. So please, let the Lagos State help us look into the Lagos State housing and then the Lagos rent to home housing loan. Please.
That's a fantastic question. I hope you heard it.
I heard it.
So the guys on the grassroots are not getting it, but the guys and directors are getting access. So what are you doing to ensure?
I would say that's not true. That's not completely true.
Okay.
It's a free and fair allocation. Okay. You fill the form, they check your documentation, and if you are eligible, then you are provided allocation to the property. But if you don't meet up to the requirements stipulated inside the forms, or for you to be able to acquire the property, then you might not be considered. But I've taken note of that, and I'll discuss it
I
with my
know,
colleagues.
just to buttress what you're saying, because I remember when this thing started doing number this time, myself, I think a few of the ladies, we all applied. One of us got it. I didn't have the money at the time, but I applied. And I was given we didn't go through anybody. We just did the normal route. We went for when they had the meetings.
Yes.
And she applied, she got hers without going to any contacts.
Yes.
But I just didn't have the money. So I can understand but their worry is that there's always that perception that the director somehow have access
No,
to allocate to themselves.
That's not true.
Are you
That's
sure?
not true. Yes, I'm very, very sure.
Let me, Mikey's been holding for a
Okay.
minute.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's okay. But this 1 year rent that you are asking, saying landlord should ask for. Because I have someone who his landlord took 1 year rent. When the time, I think he paid 6 million. When it was time for the second year, she upped it to 12 million. Yep.
Times 2.
But I'd rather pay
That's a
the
lot.
That's
She refused to take 2 years. She said 1 year, and then
year 2, she doubled it.
year 2 she doubled it.
That's what I was referring to when I first said unreasonable increase in rent. So naturally, I feel, my own personal opinion, that if you want to increase rent, at least you should not go more than maybe 10% of what you were, 10% more than what you were charging before. But we cannot literally specifically tell landlords this is what you should charge. I had a situation, my office deals with complaints as well too. For such matters, they can write to my office and we'll call them and sit them down together to come to an agreement on how much they can charge or what we think is reasonable. Then if we're not able to sort it out for them, then they can go to seek redress in court and the court can address it for them and tell them how much is reasonable. So I've had a situation of some part of Lagos where the rent was 7 million naira and the person got a letter about 2 months to when the rent was going to expire that the rent was going up from 7 million naira to 45 million. Yes. In this Lagos.
So what did they do? What did you do?
So the person wrote, they called me on the phone and I said, I can't address it informally. So you need to write to me with documentations as to the notices you were served. If you have text messages, print it out and let me know whatever it is that you were provided with. And she did that. And I invited the landlord and herself and she was saying, oh, she renovated the house, or she just put a new roof, or she just painted. Madam, that is not reasonable. You cannot just wake up and say because you renovated the house, how much are they charging around the area? Then we went and sent our field offices there to know how much they were charging. From 7 million, some increased to about maybe 12, which was still okay. 12 was a bit much as well too. So we were like, we met halfway and we brought the rent from that 45 million to 11 million naira.
45 million?
Yes,
Imagine.
and we brought it down to 11 million.
Wickedness of the wicked.
But even the 11 million is still much because from 7 million to 11 million.
But for renovation,
Well, for renovations,
was quite
the landlord did
Really
intense
invested.
renovations to the house. Not just painting and roof alone. They painted, they changed the fittings and the toilets and
Before
all
I come
that.
to you, BC, you have to hold. You have Elder David. I mean, this is a really hot matter. Elder David, thanks for calling. You're live. You're live on TV now. Go ahead, please. You're listening to the TV. Elder David, listen to me directly. Hello?
Good morning, ma. Good morning, ma. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this association should not talk of protecting the tenants alone. What of the landlords?
Okay.
Are you hearing me well, ma?
Very clearly. Go ahead. We can hear you. Please listen to me. Go ahead.
I think he's done.
I think it's done.
He's listening to the radio.
The landlord themselves have their own problem too, because like a pensioner that have retired, if he spend his pension money to renovate the house with the cost of cement and other that's happening, then you want the landlord or through the agent to give it out at a cheaper rate. So when they are forming an association, they should not talk of tenants alone. You have bad tenants, have bad landlords. Most of the tenants are cause of the problem too. I'm an elderly man. We know what we are talking about. And it's the government themselves should blame too. Because their own house, no poor man can afford it. They still run back to other people. Because somebody will be able to manage and build a place. Definitely. If the agent, without the agent, he cannot be able to rent out such a place. Let me tell you, as far as 1967, I was a caretaker to the senior brother of my father collecting rentage. So it's a legalized issue. If the caretaker misbehaves, it doesn't concern the landlord, because what the landlord gave to him and the cost of the building is what the agent will be able to pass to the tenants. So that is it there. May God bless everybody, not
Thank you,
only in
sir.
Lagos State. It's not quite about Lagos State. It's everywhere all over the whole country.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So I wanted to go back to the other issue of the government finding, reasonable accommodation for citizens, so that it takes off the pressure on the private people who are building their own houses with their own money. And I remember I used to stay around Ijayi, Ojokoro at the time. There was this Lagos State housing that was done, completed, furnished and everything. No, not furnished, but it was completed. It was locked up for many years. And what was the issue? The people who were living in that area were not able to afford the housing. And before we realized it, it was said that the Lagos State officials have all bought the houses. I haven't been to that particular place in a long time now, so I don't know if that has been handled. But these are some of the things that citizens complain about, that the Lagos State would invest, build, and before you realize it, the people in government will buy them out and then give the slots to their own people. The people who it was built for will not have access to it. Whether you're working in the state government, parastatal, or you are a regular citizen who's just doing their business, they are not able to get it.
Like I said earlier, that's not completely true. So I would investigate and find out
Ijayi,
about this.
Ojokoro.
About
I'll get you the name of the estate.
particular situation that you're talking about. But to the best of my knowledge, it's not true. Everybody has equal rights and equal access to affordable housing in Lagos. So far as you can access the form and you meet up to the requirements, you'll be provided allocation.
Okay, let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we conclude our conversation with our essay. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.